All right. So,
Okay, YouTube. Hello. Hi, how's it going? This gentleman is named Zack. He has a YouTube channel called JerryRigEverything. I am so happy to have him in the studio. I'm like working on getting all of my YouTuber friends in the studio, making a video with them. Remember, I've had Andrew in here. Zach's here now. And Zach, what are we doing today?
Today we're going to be taking apart a Nintendo Switch, which is this guy here. I'm sure you've all heard of it. And we're going to be changing the actual plastic of it into a transparent plastic because clear is so much cooler than this opaque stuff.
And let's remind the audience, Nintendo used to produce clear consoles. They made the Game Boy, the clear Game Boy, and then I believe they did the N64 also.
I do remember that one, yeah.
And then they kind of stopped doing it. So this thing is going to come completely apart. Like everything will come out, right? Like the kickstand will be and do we switch the Joy-Con as well?
Yeah, Joy-Cons will be transparent.
And do I get the buttons back? Everything's going to be in the same place.
So we have two different color options. We have this like transparent green or this like smoke gray color, and they have buttons included with them, so you can kind of see in here they're like different colored buttons.
Oh. And are they the same like OEM parts, or they're kind of third-party parts?
Third party, 100%.
Okay, third-party 100%. But the system will still work.
Hopefully,
It'll still work. And you've done this before?
I have.
Okay, great. Now, I just want to take a minute or two before we get into this video and just jams through some questions, Zach. So, how long have you been doing YouTube for?
I've been doing YouTube for 5 years now.
And that is your actual voice?
Yes.
And when you first started doing YouTube, did you realize you had this voice? Or was it like the commenters kind of, when did you have this realization before you started the channel, or you went into this knowing like my voice is amazing and I'm an announcer and here we go?
If you go back and watch like my first, 50 or 60 videos, I was extremely monotone throughout all of them. And like people would always say like, man, your voice is putting me to sleep. And like I was totally fine with that. But cell phone repair and like teardowns and stuff are just like inherently very boring.
Yes.
And so like I have to do something that keeps people's attention. And so like the inflection and like the way my voice changes a little bit throughout the video is like that's what keeps people awake or asleep depending on what they want to do throughout the video. It keeps people there, I think.
And did you know going into like starting YouTube how to take apart phones, or do you learn as you go?
Learn as I go. Every phone is like a brand new project because I'm usually the first person to be inside of these things.
And it excites you doing this, right?
Yeah.
Like getting in there and seeing how things work. Is there anything, can you think of a phone or a product that kind of shocked you with the insides? I just watched your that thermos video. That was pretty cool. Like that was something you were excited to get into. But has there been anything where you're like, whoa, that's weird? Does anything come to mind?
Not off the top of my head. The thermos video was pretty cool just because of the way, like inside of cell phones, you always have those Lego style connections.
Yes.
And like the heating coil around the bottom of the thermos was literally just plugging into the motherboard and just taking power from the battery and just turning it into heat all the way around the base of the mug. And like you could literally incorporate that into a cell phone if you wanted and like keep your hand warm. Like the technology is there.
Oh, wow.
Cell phone manufacturers would just have to put that component onto their board and then boom, your cell phone keeps your hand warm. Your battery dies quick, but it's interesting.
And what size battery was in that thermos?
I don't remember, like a 1200 or 1300 milliamp hour.
And it like, did you try it before you destroyed it?
Yeah.
And it worked?
Yeah, for 2 hours. Kept my drink warm.
For 2 hours. Wow. If you haven't seen any of Zach's videos, the channel will be linked in the description. Zach, it's cool that Zach's channel exists, and I'm talking about him like he's not even next to me, because like you've like I've been a tech nerd for my entire life, and I remember iFixit was like the place to go to see the kind of insides, but they never really went into video or that I've seen. And now you kind of just own that space of like, you want to see a tear down durability test of a gadget or a phone, you go to Zach's channel. He hit 1 million subs. When was that?
A couple months ago.
And the growth has been exponential, right? From your like beginning days. Like it wasn't where you just got on YouTube and boom, like you had 1 million subs, right? You've been at this for a while.
Yeah, 5 years of posting probably 2 or 3 videos a week. So I have like 520 videos now or something.
And now you're kind of really starting to catch fire.
Yeah.
which is why I'm excited to have Zack in here before he like becomes 5-10 million subs. So how do we do this? We just start doing it? Like you know exactly what you're doing here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I say let's start with like, so obviously the Switch comes in 3 different pieces.
Yeah.
You have the Joy-Cons that are completely detachable, and so the easiest part to switch is the main center back piece. So I vote we start with that.
All right, let's do it. All right, I'm going to change the camera angle. Give me 1 second. All right, so I've got the camera on a tripod here, and Zack is going to go to work. And as the video progresses, I'm going to change the camera angles to keep it interesting, but here we go. So I have decided color-wise, there's a green, and then there's a kind of a smoky gray. I'm gonna go with that one. Because I want it to be like, from what I remember of the Nintendo consoles that we mentioned before. So you start with the 6 screws on the back, right? Yeah. And how do you know to start with those 6 screws? Because there's also screws on the sides. Or do you not know? You just kind of guess.
They all need to come out eventually.
Right.
And so like you just have to do it.
Okay.
Doesn't really matter what order it is.
Okay.
What I do though is I do take out the screws and I put them in like the same general shape.
Yes. I remember. I think it was. I forget what video you. I think it was the iPhone teardown where you were like, these screws need to go. But like they designed screws for individual places.
Exactly.
Like, are these screws the same size that you're taking out now from the back?
All of the ones. So there's like 5. There's 4 around the back panel. These are all the same size and they're like interchangeable. But it's also just like important to get in the habit of making sure they go back in the right hole.
Okay.
Because one wrong. There is what I think is like the iPhone 6. If you do put one of the screws in the wrong hole, it like stabs the circuit board and breaks your whole phone. So like, it's just important to do it in the right way at the right time.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a problem with this one.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we got lucky.
Got lucky.
It's out.
Does it have to go back in? I don't really care if I'm missing a screw in the back.
Yeah.
It's like those skateboarders that will leave like one of the screws like on a skateboard. Some skaters like to leave one of these screws out or like have them kind of like diagonal. It's like a style thing.
Really?
So yeah. So I don't really mind if we're missing a screw.
Yeah, not fine. I mean, right now all the screws are working, but
okay,
we haven't lost any yet.
And so you, when your parts that you sell, you have to use all the same screws and hardware that the device comes with.
Yes.
It's like a shell.
Yes.
Okay. And does it say Nintendo Switch on the back, or it's totally clear?
I'm not sure. Do you want to open that one up?
Yeah, let's do it actually.
So right now, they got the screws. This is just kind of laid out in the same general shape. So like this screw right here was on the very top, and since it's above the 4 back screws, I know exactly what hole it's supposed to go into. And these 2 screws were on the sides of the Nintendo Switch. So we've taken off the back cover. So we got like, the metal and the fan and stuff. And so when we get the clear back out of here, you'll be able to see the fan spinning underneath, and you'll be able to see like your SD card slot and all that stuff.
Oh, so you don't take apart the entire thing at the same time, though?
Yeah, because that's be a lot of screws laying around.
Okay.
We'd get those mixed up. And
so
stuff.
you can put the back on first now, and then move around to the front.
Well, the front actually stays the exact same, but the Joy-Cons, those are all...
Okay.
The Joy-Cons are a lot harder than...
Okay, so this is just the back plate
exactly
for the Switch. Oh, okay, so not nearly as crazy as I thought.
So the kickstand is now in place, and it's got 1 screw down here at the bottom, and then it's got 2 more screws up here at the top. So I just moved over this little contraption from the old Switch to the new Switch.
Have you ever encountered a product that you needed to go out and get a separate tool for?
Yeah, I think it was Huawei came out with like this weird screw that like I literally had to buy a whole separate toolkit for.
Wow. Do you usually have what you need?
Yeah, because like I have a ton of, I have my own cell phone toolkits. Like this is like a basic set that handles, 90% of phones.
Yeah.
But then every now and then there'll be some weird, like Nintendo has this tri-point screw.
Yeah, that's the one on the back of the Joy-Con, right?
Yeah, and so like you have to have a special bit for that. Apple has their pentalobe screw down at the bottom of their phones.
And those are proprietary?
Yeah, but then within 10 minutes, there's Chinese manufacturers pumping out the bits for them.
Yeah.
So like no matter how much manufacturers try to keep people out of their products, like it's
it makes people want to get in. more, you know?
Yeah.
If something's harder to break in, you're going to try that much harder to break in.
And like I feel like if you buy your own stuff, like your Nintendo Switch and your cell phone and your car, you should be able to fix it. You know?
I agree. I completely agree. So I was talking to Zach off camera before. I didn't know this. You fix cars too.
Yeah.
Right? Like take apart, rebuild. What do you like tinkering with more?
If I had to pick.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, cars is fun. I like cars because it's, like, it's bigger, it's more...
Right. I mean, they're inherently different.
Yeah.
One's a vehicle that you drive, and the other is a thing that you hold in your hand and communicate with.
Yeah. If I had to pick one, it would be working with something that's bigger and tangible and that, like, actually doesn't require any finesse to fix.
Okay.
It's just, like, there, and you can just, you know, fix it right on the spot.
Have you dealt with, like, bigger machinery than cars? Like, have you taken apart tractors or...
No, my grandpa. So my name is Zack, but my grandpa's name was Jerry, so the channel's kind of named after him.
And it just how happens to be that jerry rig is like a...
It's a phrase, too. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
But
I didn't know that.
He was the king of jerry rigging stuff, so he actually took 2 separate tractors and combined them onto the same axle. So both engines were pushing one axle for the rear, and like, so a tractor had 2 motors basically. And he would drive that around in like parades and stuff. It was pretty legit.
And when did you first show your face?
So when I first started my channel, I was like kind of nervous about that whole thing. Like I didn't tell my friends and stuff that I started a YouTube channel. Just because like, you know, whenever you start a new project or a new business, like the first thing people say is like, "Oh, that's never going to work."
Yeah,
like,
of course.
You know, it's like, "Why are you doing that with your free time?" Like,
Yep.
You should just watch Netflix and enjoy life. And so like for my first 50 videos, I think, or like maybe 20 or 30 videos, I just kind of kept myself out of it. Not that I was like, I just didn't want that ridicule starting out. Like I just wanted to, you know, do my own thing because I knew I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And if you enjoy doing something, you should do it.
That's right. That's right.
So,
okay.
I was probably like 20 or 30 videos in. Then
and how was the response?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of subscribers at that point, maybe like 1,000 or so.
I would just imagine people would be surprised, you know, that you're you behind the camera.
Really?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. When I first started watching your channel, I didn't really know what you look like either. So this is the easy part, Zach, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Each Joy-Con will probably take twice as long than this Switch itself took.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. And it still powers on.
I don't think we ever turned it off, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think we did either. Okay. And that's the Switch, the back of the Switch right there. And now this is the hard part.
Yeah. All right, so the Joy-Con is open. I also have the rail right here, and the rail has 2 ribbon cables. So I'll take my little pry tool first. Battery is now disconnected. So there's a spot inside of the battery housing. Oh, I think I started with the harder one. There's a spot right under the battery that you can put a pry tool underneath. And there's just a tiny bit of adhesive under the battery that allows it to pull away. So we'll set that off to the side. Alright, so basically each of these little ribbon cables, they just have a little connector down here at the bottom. And so I lift up that little locking latch, and then the whole ribbon can just pull out very gently.
Oh my goodness.
And then the latch on this side is on the other side, but it still lifts up, unlatches, and then we are out. So now we have 3 separate parts. We have the battery housing with the trigger, and then we have the Joy-Con like actual connector right here. So we're going to start with the connector. Alright, so now we have the Joy-Con rail stuck inside of the back housing with the one little screw. So that's easy enough. And let's move on to the battery housing. So this part is probably, this is where we need the tweezers, because these little tiny springs in here, they're super annoying.
Oh, wow. Okay, so should we pause here and get some tweezers?
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay, we're back with tweezers. I'm gonna get in here, Zach, on this camera and explain why we needed those tweezers. See if we can see it.
If we can get, so this trigger obviously has springs. That's what makes it, a trigger. And so these little guys right here, they're super hard to line up. And like I can't even, touch it with my finger because it's so small.
Let me see this really quick. So that little tiny spring in there needs to be held in place, and the only way to really do that is with a pair of tweezers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so the button is off now. And we got the 2 little
Oh, there are
springs
literal
right
springs. Here. Wow. Does it matter which one's which?
Nope.
Okay. So you have to get it in there and hold that top piece as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, first try. That's not too bad.
Wow.
Okay.
Great.
Done with that too.
Easy.
Oh yeah, easy, definitely. So this is what the little joystick looks like. So if the joystick ever breaks, you can either buy one of these somewhere, or sometimes they never, become available for sale, and you just have to harvest one from like a broken switch. Take 2 broken switches and splice them together, and boom, you have a working switch. People make a whole living around that philosophy. So the motherboard inside the switch has 2 screws up in the top, and I think that's... So now there's 2 ribbon cables down here at the bottom. I'm going to unlatch these. And the vibration motor does have like some glue down at the bottom. So now, hopefully those screws are out and the vibration motor is out.
Should just come apart, huh?
Should.
In theory.
So one thing that Nintendo does that's really cool is that their buttons are completely... Each button has a different physical shape to it.
Oh, why?
So, because it only fits in one hole. And so, like, that's really nice that, the button colors can never be switched up. And that just takes out one aspect of the construction process that can't be screwed up. Like, there's always so many variables with every product that you're making.
Yeah.
And they eliminate that variable entirely. All the buttons are still working. Joystick is good. What games have you played on this?
Just Super Mario.
Just Super... You don't have the freaking Zelda yet?
No.
Man, you're missing out.
I know.
That one's the coolest one.
Have you played through it?
No, I haven't had time.
The second Joy-Con is easier, right?
If I remember right, yes.
Okay. Relatively speaking, I guess. It works. It works.
Okay. Let's put these back in. The thing is making noises. Just deleted all of your games.
Oh no, I don't even have games on there. So it works.
Yeah, it does. So let's see what it looks like with just one installed. So we got the back.
So sick. Wow, that looks really cool. So to save some time, let's do a smash cut. So I'm gonna just go like this. And boom, there it is. So now, ladies and gentlemen, so this is the Nintendo Switch now. And what's nice is that the thing actually works. It totally still functions as a Nintendo Switch, but the back is totally transparent now. You can't do the front, I'm told, but the Joy-Con individually came completely apart, as you saw. So now they're modded to be clear, which is really, really cool. And it's just a cool, this doesn't really do anything besides aesthetics for the console. It doesn't make the console faster or more powerful. Like a beauty perspective, I think this thing looks way sicker than it does. And I don't know why more manufacturers don't do clear products, right? Like I feel like they should. Nintendo used to,
Yeah.
Back in the day. And you've been doing a lot of these clear mods, right? You have the S8 clear, right? And you do that yourself.
Mm-hmm. Just pull the color out. Because, like, honestly, I feel like technology is so amazing these days. It's like, why can't we see the components that are actually making this futuristic technology, like, work?
Right.
It's like, I love seeing the inside of this stuff.
Yeah, same. And that's kind of it, ladies and gentlemen. Now my Switch looks really dope. Zach, thank you for doing this. If you want to check out this mod, I'll leave a link to it in the description. Although I would recommend you getting a Zack to help you do it because it seems really difficult. And
Like a little bit extra.
Yeah. And I will leave Zach's channel in the description. Also, definitely show him some love. You probably already know who he is. Like, if you're subscribed to my channel, I would imagine you're subscribed to Zack too. But if not, go check him out. And that's it. Zack has a flight to catch. I'm going to game, and I'll see you around.